light out there that's following us.
They're here, they're parked on the side of the crater, they're watching us.
Technically, becomes an unidentified flying object.
Space, the final frontier, is a vast, cold, and mysterious expanse where the unimaginable becomes reality. Imagine floating in the inky blackness of space, only to hear mysterious knocking sounds on your spacecraft, or seeing strange lights darting around that defy all logic. Then there's the unsettling feeling of being watched by shadowy figures, even when you're millions of miles from home. Could it be that the darkness of space holds more than just stars and planets? Are we truly alone, or is something, or someone, out there, watching? Get ready to explore the unknown, as we unveil the creepiest things NASA astronauts have said in the deepest reaches of outer space. The Forgotten Pioneers. Over the years, man's focus on space has shifted towards uncovering the existence of other life forms, especially biological ones. Once known as space travelers, now called astronauts, they've been entrusted with the task of offering a human perspective on space and making discoveries through study and experimentation. But for many, their experiences seem like an impossible dream job. Yet, amidst the excitement, it's easy to overlook the darker side of space exploration. Traumatic incidents often get overshadowed by groundbreaking discoveries. Space travel for humans demanded immense effort from scientists and engineers. However, the journey of space exploration began long before humans were ready to venture into the unknown. To avoid risking human lives in undefined experiments, scientists turned to animals, harnessing their consciousness and self-awareness to pave the way for safe space exploration. Animals, not humans, were the true pioneers of space exploration, preceding our confidence and knowledge enough to send humans on these missions. Despite this fact being public knowledge for decades, there's a common misconception about which animals were the first to journey into space. While dogs are often credited with this achievement, the truth is far different. They were indeed among the first, but not the only ones. Before this significant event, government officials undertook a secret experiment. On February 20th, 1947, scientists launched a group of fruit flies into space from the White Sand Missile Range in New Mexico. This experiment aimed to study both the pests and the spacecraft. The spacecraft reportedly reached an altitude of 67 miles before safely returning to Earth. Scientists have determined that space begins at an altitude of 100 kilometers, and the spacecraft's additional mile was just enough pressure to breach this threshold. Although the fruit flies didn't venture deep into the heliosphere, they hold the esteemed title of being the first Earth life forms to journey into space. During this period of research, scientists were keen on understanding how radiation impacts organic matter. To conduct their experiments effectively, they sought a subject with genetics similar to humans, yet easy to work with. Surprisingly, fruit flies fit the bill perfectly, and the research gained approval. The most thrilling moment for scientists was awaiting the results of their groundbreaking experiment, and they weren't disappointed. Upon examining the fly's capsule upon return to Earth, scientists were stunned. They observed that the fly's genetics had undergone mutation due to radiation exposure. This revelation provided valuable insights into how human systems might react to the space environment. Throughout the years, scientists have utilized a variety of animals for space experiments, including dogs, monkeys, turtles, mice, and more. This time, the use of animals in space trials has become even more widespread and popular than before. With the emergence of NASA and the expansion of space exploration, there has been a rapid advancement in scientific innovation and exploration. Many trials have been conducted over several decades, leading to the remarkable progress achieved in space travel. However, despite the positive strides made in space exploration, there has also been a significant amount of fear and trauma experienced along the way. Scientists and people worldwide knew about sending animals into space, but were they aware of animals being in space? In a surprising twist, astronauts, typically bound by non-disclosure agreements, have come forward to share accounts of what they describe as the most frightening experiences of their lives, all occurring while they were in space. James McDivitt and Ed White, UFO encounters. When we talk about UFOs, our minds often conjure images of disc-shaped or flying saucer-like objects. Anything beyond our understanding tends to be quite challenging to explain. Astronauts James McDivitt and Ed White found themselves grappling with this notion. McDivitt and White were aboard the Gemini 4 mission in 1965 and had an extraordinary experience during their space journey. While performing the first U.S. spacewalk on June 3, 1965, over Hawaii, they spotted something remarkable, an object that NASA later classified as a UFO. This mysterious sighting left them baffled. The object, described as a bright cylindrical entity measuring roughly 30 to 40 meters, appeared to rotate or sway slightly. McDivitt promptly reported the sighting to ground control and managed to capture photos of the strange object. Unfortunately, the photos turned out blurry, failing to provide clear evidence of the UFO. The incident sparked widespread speculation and debate among scientists and the public, particularly as the Apollo missions approached. People questioned the safety of sending humans into space when unidentified flying objects were present. Despite NASA's investigation into the matter, no conclusive explanation for the sighting was ever found. While NASA maintains that most UFO sightings have logical explanations, McDivitt and White remained convinced that what they saw was not of terrestrial origin. However, they could only speculate about the true nature of the encounter. Reflecting on the incident, McDivitt admitted the difficulty of explaining something so incomprehensible. Story Musgrave's otherworldly entities. Retired NASA astronaut Franklin. Story Musgrave, known for his communication role in approximately 25 missions spanning from 1967 to 1997, recounted some spine-chilling experiences from his time in space. Musgrave, a seasoned mission specialist, participated in 6 space flights, accumulating over 1,281 hours and 59 minutes in space. He shared a hair-raising encounter that occurred during 2 of his missions. Musgrave revealed that despite his extensive training for contact, he was taken aback to encounter a life form in space sooner than expected. During an interview, Musgrave disclosed that he observed a long, snake-like creature trailing his spacecraft as he journeyed through space. At first, he mistook it for a rubber hose, but upon closer inspection, he realized it was moving autonomously, exhibiting motions similar to biological organisms. He described it as measuring between 1.8 to 2.5 meters in length. Musgrave dubbed the mysterious entity his eel, and admitted to encountering the same creature during another mission, dispelling his initial belief that it was a figment of his imagination. He hesitated to report the encounter to NASA initially, fearing disbelief, especially since he initially dismissed the sightings as illusions. The creatures, resembling reptiles, varied in size, with many species observed floating in space. Musgrave emphasized that the more space missions one undertakes, the more mysteries come to light, including the existence of inexplicable space creatures. Some of these beings were nearly invisible, comparable in size to cells in the human body. As the interview progressed, Musgrave expressed his belief in the presence of additional biological life forms in space, advocating for meticulous observation to unveil further discoveries and prepare for future explorations. The astronaut emphasizes that space holds countless mysteries yet to be uncovered, estimating that only a mere 1% has been revealed, despite humanity's extensive exploration. Additionally, he shares his belief in the existence of aliens, citing his direct encounters with one of them. Describing these encounters as frightening and bewildering, he reflects on the significance of these close encounters during his various space missions. What's particularly noteworthy in Musgrave's interview is his affirmation of alien presence, while disputing the notion of Earth's attraction to them. He challenges the view that everything revolves around Earth, highlighting the vast number of planets visited by advanced beings. Contrary to our perception of Earth's significance, he suggests that aliens are more comfortable with their relationships on other planets. Moreover, he contemplates the possibility of humanity's extinction over time, asserting that our presence has little impact on alien activities. He argues that Earth holds little interest for aliens, given its relatively undeveloped status compared to other planets they frequent. Musgrave's story left many stunned, with some suggesting that if even a tiny bit of truth lay hidden in the numerous reports of encounters with aliens, his account came closest to reality. After his tenure at NASA, his narrative was deemed the most credible among all the tales of extraterrestrial contact. Alan Bean, an astronaut who participated in the second moon mission in 1969 aboard Apollo 12, had an eventful journey. Serving as the helmsman of the landing capsule, Bean's primary task on the lunar surface was to install scientific equipment. During his time there, he conducted 2 spacewalks, totaling over 7 hours. Bean's mission took him to the Oceanus Procellarum, a vast expanse of lava known as the Ocean of Storms, near the Surveyor 3 crater where Apollo 12 landed. While traversing this lunar landscape, Bean noticed a peculiar shiny object several hundred meters away. He reported his observation, but experts speculated that it could be due to optical illusions, reflections, or errors induced by the unusual lunar environment. Similar to phenomena observed on Earth, such as moonlight or earthshine, sunlight reflecting off the Earth's surface can cast a faint light onto the moon's surface. Additionally, certain types of rocks and minerals with reflective properties could create a luminous appearance on the moon. While these rocks are rare on the lunar surface, it's possible that Bean encountered a significant accumulation of feldspar, a type of mineral known to glitter or glow when exposed to sunlight. Maurice Chatelain, Aliens in Space. During an interview, former NASA astronaut Maurice Chatelain shared astonishing insights about humanity's role in the universe. Chatelain suggested that the creation of humans was a result of countless events and reactions, hinting that our species may not be as advanced as we believe. He emphasized that his experiences in space reinforced the notion that human existence is shaped by numerous factors. While acknowledging the validity of the Big Bang Theory, Chatelain also recognized the significance of faith-based perspectives in understanding human origins. He proposed that a multitude of factors, both scientific and spiritual, contributed to the emergence of the human species. Chatelain questioned the idea that Earth was the starting point of existence, suggesting a deeper, more mysterious narrative. Furthermore, Chatelain cast doubt on the notion of humans visiting Earth as extraterrestrial beings, suggesting instead that early visitors may have chosen to settle on our planet after finding it devoid of dominant life forms. If Chatelain's reasoning holds, it poses intriguing questions for scientific inquiry. Scientists may need to explore the possibility of humans thriving on other planets in the universe, challenging conventional views of our cosmic significance. After his tenure at NASA, Chatelain shared his groundbreaking ideas and research in a book titled Our Ancestors Came from Outer Space, published on January 1, 1978. This book swiftly captured the attention of readers worldwide, becoming a cornerstone in the exploration of extraterrestrial beings and their potential connection to Earth. Despite being classified as nonfiction, it was often regarded as cosmic mythology due to its revolutionary concepts. Within its pages, Chatelain delves into the profound question of whether life exists beyond Earth, tracing humanity's journey and its hypothetical interactions with otherworldly beings since the dawn of self-awareness. The book explores iconic monuments like the pyramids of Giza, Atlantis, and the lost treasures of ancient Egypt, unraveling their mysteries in the context of human history. Chatelain boldly presents the notion of extraterrestrial intervention throughout human evolution, proposing that these strange beings, whom he refers to as aliens, played a crucial role in shaping various aspects of human civilization, including architecture, culture, and governance. He speculates on the possibility that these aliens may have been the original inhabitants of Earth, or even visitors from distant realms, offering assistance to early humans in their quest for a habitable and orderly planet. In his book, Chatelain proposes that the idea of extraterrestrial life forms visiting Earth is not just a theory, but a genuine possibility. He argues that these beings are highly skilled in space travel, seamlessly navigating between planets and exerting dominance wherever they find suitable conditions. Chatelain draws parallels between their voyages and human exploration, emphasizing their advanced capabilities. According to Chatelain, Earth is not unique in the eyes of these advanced beings. He suggests that our planet is just one among many that have been visited and settled by highly evolved life forms from distant corners of the universe. Contrary to popular belief, Chatelain asserts that the leaders and elites of human history were not descendants of these settled aliens, but rather native inhabitants who seized control of Earth. These dominant beings operated covertly, manipulating human culture, traditions, and norms to serve their own agenda. Chatelain proposes that many of Earth's historical monuments and artifacts were created by these advanced beings as tools for mind control. These landmarks were designed to instill reverence and obedience in humans, effectively shaping the course of civilization. As a result, the rise and fall of civilizations have often been orchestrated by these extraterrestrial forces, with humans relegated to a subordinate role similar to animals bred for servitude. In his follow-up book, Our Cosmic Ancestors, Chatelain introduced a captivating narrative that intrigued readers, particularly those interested in UFOs. He delved into the adventures of the renowned space explorer, Neil Armstrong, revealing details that went unnoticed by most during his historic journey. Chatelain suggested that only experts like himself could discern the true significance of the terrifying moments Armstrong encountered. While the world watched Armstrong's space mission unfold, Chatelain hinted that there was more to the story than met the eye. He proposed that the brief but nerve-wracking period when Armstrong lost communication with Earth was perhaps the most intense and frightening experience of his life. Chatelain claimed that Armstrong made a groundbreaking discovery while exploring the depths of space, contradicting the official reports of technical difficulties. According to Chatelain, Armstrong's astonishment at encountering a massive unknown spacecraft on the other side of a crater was genuine and unscripted. His exclamation, "These babies are huge, sir. Gigantic. There are other spaceships lined up out here at the other side of the crater," captured the awe and wonder of the moment. Chatelain believed that Armstrong's words, captured directly from his space journey, reflected genuine amazement and revealed a profound truth beyond the official narrative. As celebrations erupted for the successful experiment, astronauts and scientists struggled with Armstrong's report of sighting other spaceships, especially those on the opposite side of the crater. The burning question was the identity and intentions of these spacecraft. Were they hostile, aiming to harm Armstrong and Earth? Or were their occupants waiting to communicate with Earth? Alternatively, did they intend to disclose their presence to humanity? Numerous theories emerged, and efforts were made to decipher Neil Armstrong's sighting. Following extensive research, scientists ultimately determined that the spacecraft was of extraterrestrial origin, affirming the existence of beings from beyond our planet. This discovery settled the age-old debate about humanity's solitude in the cosmos, but it also sparked a new, profound inquiry. If we're not alone, then why haven't we encountered others? Edgar Mitchell and Chris Hadfield. Extraterrestrial intervention. Astronaut Edgar Mitchell, renowned for his role in the Apollo 13 mission rescue, had strong beliefs about extraterrestrial beings. Besides being hailed as a hero for his contributions to the historic moon flight, Mitchell openly asserted that high-ranking military officials were concealing evidence of UFO sightings. Growing up near the White Sands testing range in New Mexico, Mitchell claimed to have witnessed flying saucers since childhood. Moreover, he suggested in an interview that extraterrestrials intervened in human affairs, particularly in preventing nuclear destruction. This perspective led him to express gratitude towards these beings for their alleged intervention. Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield, known for his command of the International Space Station, shared his thoughts before the release of a U.S. government report on unidentified aerial phenomena. Reflecting on his experiences, Hadfield remarked, "I've seen countless things in the sky that I don't understand." Before his space career, Hadfield served as a fighter pilot in the Canadian Air Force. Despite his belief in the likelihood of extraterrestrial life, Hadfield cautioned against hastily attributing unidentified phenomena to UFOs or aliens. He urged for a more methodical approach to exploring the possibility of other life forms in space, emphasizing the importance of serious inquiry over speculative assumptions. Young Lays, a mysterious knock. Besides Europeans and Americans, Asians also joined the space race, bringing their advanced technology and years of research to the table. They navigated the challenges of space exploration with relative ease, thanks to their expertise. One notable figure in this endeavor was Major General and astronaut Young Lei, a skilled military pilot. On October 15, 2003, Lei embarked on a historic journey into space, approved by the Chinese space program. He piloted the Shenzhou 5 spacecraft, spending over 21 hours orbiting the Earth 14 times. Despite earning accolades for his bravery and being hailed as the first Chinese astronaut to accomplish such a feat, Lei encountered a moment of sheer terror that would leave a lasting impact. While drifting through the vast expanse of space, Lei experienced an unnerving event that sent shivers down his spine. In an interview, he recounted hearing a mysterious knocking sound echoing through the confines of his spacecraft. This unexpected noise would have rattled anyone, but Lei's military training helped him maintain composure. Lei described the sound as similar to someone striking an iron bucket with a wooden hammer, the relentless tapping reverberating through the spacecraft. Despite his best efforts, Lei couldn't pinpoint the source of the sound, which seemed both near and far at the same time. Determined to unravel the mystery, Lei investigated the spacecraft for any signs of damage, but found none. This mysterious encounter left Lei pondering the vastness of the universe and the possibility of encountering the unknown. Even in the solitude of space, he struggled with the realization that humanity's exploration of the cosmos is fraught with uncertainty and the unexpected. Lei recounted feeling unnerved by a strange sound upon returning to Earth, but despite his efforts, he couldn't identify its source. He noted that the sound resembled a knock caused by a sizable object hitting the spacecraft. Despite thorough investigation, no evidence was found to explain the phenomenon. Experts took Lei's account seriously, suspecting it might indicate contact with extraterrestrial beings. Some saw it as a missed opportunity for interaction, while others believed it was fortunate, considering humanity's lack of understanding about these beings. What made Lei's experience even more peculiar were the similar incidents reported by other Chinese astronauts on subsequent space missions. They too heard persistent knocking sounds during their travels, adding to the mystery surrounding Lei's encounter. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. Under the pale glow of Earthshine, Commander Lucas felt a chill. As the first human crew to reach Mars, excitement should have eclipsed all fear. Yet, whispers of the unknown filled the silence of the barren red desert. It started when they uncovered the ruins, structures eerily similar to ancient Earth civilizations. One evening, as they huddled in the habitat module, the comms crackled. Mission Control, this is Mars Base 1. We have... Lucas's voice trembled. It's not just ruins. There are markings, warnings in an ancient script. The team deciphered the message. Beware the watchers in the shadows. They hunger for life. That night, Engineer Maria awoke screaming. She claimed to see figures moving outside the module, dark shapes that slithered and shifted. By dawn, Lucas's log entry would be the last communication Earth received. We are not alone. This is not a place for humans. The creepiest things NASA astronauts have uttered in the deepest reaches of outer space are no longer fiction. The shadows, they whisper our names. As the static swallowed his final words, the crew knew they had uncovered something meant to remain hidden. The Martian sands would keep their secrets, but Earth would forever wonder what truly transpired on that desolate planet. Do you believe that there are aliens in space? The changing landscape of space exploration. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy announced ambitious plans to send Americans to the moon and urged Congress to allocate the necessary funds. By 1966, NASA received a significant portion of the federal budget, about 4.5%, which was 10 times more than it receives today. This increased funding enabled NASA to successfully execute the Apollo program, culminating in the historic moon landing within 7 years. However, when discussions arose in recent years about NASA returning to the moon, Congress was reluctant to allocate additional funds. Many argued that the substantial spending on NASA during the Cold War era was justifiable due to the intense space race rivalry. If NASA were to undertake missions similar to the Apollo today, it would cost significantly more. Back in the day, the moon was seen as a scientific dead end, not worth the expense. President Richard Nixon had serious doubts about going back to the moon due to the risks and high costs, so he called off the program. Initially, more than 20,000 companies and 400,000 private investors supported the Apollo mission. But as public interest dwindled, so did the backing. Nowadays, it's even tougher to find sponsors for such projects. A 2005 NASA report estimated that returning to the moon would cost around $104 billion. But at that time, the US government had other urgent issues to address and couldn't rally public support for a new lunar exploration project. Critics also argue that NASA is outdated and inefficient compared to SpaceX, which uses reusable rocket parts and sustainable propellants, making their programs more cost-effective. NASA has recognized this shift and is now partnering with SpaceX for low-cost support, even for supplying the International Space Station. In 2018, a survey found that most Americans prioritize climate-related research over Moon or Mars missions. While 72% of respondents wanted the US to maintain its leadership in space exploration, only 13% considered sending astronauts to the moon a top priority. Surveys also revealed that very few kids and young people aspire to be astronauts nowadays. Many prefer careers as YouTubers or influencers. However, thanks to the entrepreneurial vision of such figures as Elon Musk, the US and NASA are set to revive moon programs. Musk's ambitious plans, especially the Starship project, have captured people's imagination and are expected to pave the way for a new NASA lunar mission. The Artemis program aims to send humans back to the moon, establish a permanent base on its surface, and create a base in lunar orbit, marking a significant milestone in space exploration. NASA, unfortunately, doesn't operate independently. It's entirely under the control of the US government, which means it's subject to political whims. With shifts in power between Republicans and Democrats and the turnover of presidents, NASA's direction can change rapidly. Political agendas often influence NASA's priorities, and funding for its programs can become a point of contention during election campaigns. A clear example of this occurred in 2004, when President George W. Bush tasked NASA with finding a successor to the space shuttle. NASA responded with the Constellation program, aiming to send astronauts to the moon using the Ares rocket and Orion spacecraft. Despite investing $9 billion over 5 years, the program was scrapped by President Barack Obama in 2010 due to budgetary concerns. In the 1980s, protests erupted at the Kennedy Kennedy Space Center, highlighting the disparity between spending on space exploration and domestic issues. Over 500 African Americans gathered, criticizing the high cost of feeding astronauts, while many in the U.S. struggled with poverty. By then, the Apollo moon landings had lost their allure, and public sentiment soured over the perceived extravagance of space missions. Some even claimed the Apollo 11 moon landing was a hoax, further dividing public opinion. In 1976, a man named Bill Kaysing stirred controversy with his pamphlet, We Never Went to the Moon, where he challenged the authenticity of the Apollo moon landings. From Apollo pioneers to future prospects, the reliability of software systems in space missions is a critical concern. Despite their benefits, mechanization and automation present potential risks. Recent setbacks with NASA's SLS rocket highlight these challenges, with software issues causing delays and technical glitches. During a test in April 2022, NASA encountered problems with faulty valves and hydrogen leaks, attributed to poor design and malfunctioning computer controls by Boeing, the rocket's manufacturer. In the 1960s, technology was less advanced, requiring astronauts like Aldrin and Armstrong to rely on manual piloting skills. Their successful moon landing, despite computer system failures, demonstrated the importance of human expertise in space exploration. The inhospitable lunar environment poses numerous challenges for human habitation and research. Harsh conditions, including lethal vacuum and extreme temperatures, render the moon uninhabitable without protective gear. Lunar dust, containing sharp particles resembling razor blades, presents further dangers, corroding equipment and posing health risks to astronauts. Apollo mission astronauts experienced firsthand the abrasive nature of lunar dust, which damaged their suits and equipment, highlighting the formidable obstacles of lunar exploration. Many of the astronauts who walked on the moon during the Apollo missions developed a condition known as lunar dust allergy. Surprisingly, even technicians who handled the spacesuits and remnants of moon dust on Earth fell ill, highlighting the hazardous nature of this lunar material. Although lunar exploration poses its dangers, the prospect of lunar tourism presents exciting opportunities for profitable endeavors in space exploration. However, NASA continues to prioritize scientific research over commercial ventures. Initially, there was little scientific justification for returning to the moon, as robotic probes and rovers could conduct research more efficiently and cost-effectively. However, the resumption of NASA's Artemis program was prompted not only by the desire to maintain a strategic presence on the moon, but also by the discovery of rare resources by the Chinese. These resources have the potential to facilitate nuclear fusion, offering a renewable source of clean energy for Earth. With China making significant strides in space exploration, including the establishment of a space station and the development of advanced rocket technology, a new space race is underway. The moon, once considered a barren celestial body, is now viewed as a potential source of valuable resources. This has attracted substantial investment from the industry, revitalizing scientific and economic interest in lunar exploration. Despite numerous challenges and uncertainties, NASA launched an unmanned Orion capsule into space in 2023, marking a significant milestone in its space exploration endeavors. By 2028, NASA plans to send humans back to the moon aboard a SpaceX Starship, marking the first crewed lunar landing since the Apollo missions. This renewed focus on lunar exploration holds the potential to not only advance scientific understanding, but also to harness the moon's resources for the benefit of humanity's future on Earth. Do you think about humans embarking on space travel? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.